Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Let's go ahead and get into this. We just go ahead and get right into it. All right, so on the calendar today, we're going to have the ISM manufacturing PMI. Let's check out that power range. All right, for the NQ Future Sessions power range today, we got a high of 1510 and a half with a low of 14970. Sentiment is long. We had a little bit of retracement. We'll get to that in a second. Just have to fly through that. Up 0.32% with a volume of 55K and an ATR 185.40. All right, so you see we are still hanging around this all-time high territory, kind of range bound from a daily perspective. You see overnight we had a slight little gap up, traded bullish, then we retraced back to our power range high. Respected some support there, got a response, and now we're just bouncing back to near the session highs currently at PR plus 1 leading into the bell. I'm just gonna get a real quick glance at how the rest of the market looks for our futures market pulse. If I see anything that sticks out, I'll mention something. Had some last minute things come up that kind of threw my energy off this morning, so I'm not gonna trade this morning. That's part of my rules. If I'm not fully focused and not in the right energy, the not right frame of mind, then I'm gonna have to I can't trade. So our under indexes are above their power range. Got some selling with CL, which makes sense looking at it from a daily perspective. Also, GC is below its power range. A little bit of neutral bulls with the euro currency. So, nice little mix this morning for our futures market pulse. Okay. Well, let me do it this way. About this, it gives me more time to practice my 2 account thing. So I'm just gonna keep this in sim mode. And get some 2 account practice in. Last Friday I spent just trading. I didn't like the price action anyway, so it was perfect timing. But I was practicing trading in 2 different accounts, like just different things, ideas that I have in mind. Let me make sure this is in sim mode. So I didn't even get my tea this morning. everything is good to go. A quick sound check. Got about 4 minutes to the bell, and make sure I get my pre-market screenshot. Go ahead and get that in. The volume seems kind of low this morning. Also, we're just at 70K for NQ. The sentiment that I've heard from across the market is August is usually a slow month. Run through my checklist. Yeah, just being self-aware, I can tell I'm not as focused as I should be. So yeah, I'm definitely not trading this morning. Let's see, got about 2 minutes before the bell. I can go ahead and put all this other stuff in here. Just filling out my journal. All right, and we're open. We got a balance level at 1541.5. And then below that, we have one at our 989.25. I've seen that one a lot in the recent trading sessions. Nice little break higher right there at the open. It's gonna definitely let this first 3-minute candle play out. Get a sense of what we're trying to do this morning for our New York Stock Exchange hours. So we did get about a response there at that balance level. It's like we got a battle between that and VWAP. Got a lot of things, a lot of my indicators are lining up right there at 1524. Giving us a nice response for our buyers. Our sellers are still sitting up there, not giving up. Still just chopping around this battle zone. Even looking at the Delta board, I'm just not seeing a lot of much directional energy in this market this morning. Well, much energy at all. It's like it's just light across the board. Relative to what we have been accustomed to seeing so far this year. All right, our sellers trying to make a push to where our buyers were, but we still got buyers just accumulating this. Mechanical to our levels at this moment. Keeping in mind that we still are bullish of the power range. Actually, that should have been a trade for me. Yeah, so I'm definitely not focused. Because what I'm supposed to be doing is practicing both techniques that I have for trading. Like I have multiple strategies and multiple ways that I could trade, but I'm supposed there's two of the main ones that there's two main methods that I like to use for entering a trade, and you know, just pretty much two main strategies, and I'm supposed to be practicing both of those strategies in a simulated environment to see if, you know, how it'll work out for me for something that I have planned or in mind in the future. Our sellers are looking pretty strong this morning. Sell mode. Word up origin. So our sellers are looking pretty strong. Got a slight response at the 989 a quarter level. Our session low is at 970. Kind of the halfway point between the PR low and PR -1. Okay, so we're now starting to get an idea of what they were doing overnight, just accumulating or setting setting the market up for the move that we're seeing right now. You know, this is why we had you can see what kind of participation we have in the market. This is mostly wholesale from my perspective. I've definitely seen this story before. Let's see how far they take it down. You know, with this price being so mechanical and the low volume and the low energy in the pre-market, and our range is kind of small that we're trading in this morning. It just hit me. Well, now you can see it kind of in how spaced out we are looking at the power range in relation to the size of our candles. I wonder what would happen if I do this. So you can see they're still buying in this market as we hit the power range low, getting a response. Every time we hit one of our levels, we get a response that takes us slightly higher before, you know, our sellers come back in and push price lower. This is decent price action if you're looking for small scalps. Of course, it always depends on how you're trading it. Looking at it from a 1 minute perspective, it looks like they want to try to keep pushing it lower, but our buyers are stepping in here slightly. I'm about to mess up. I don't think in this position that I'm playing here, I don't think it's ever been above my average price. Now we're seeing, let's see how we respond to our PR -1 as well as this 937 balance level. This is also looking at a 30-minute chart. We also got some structural support down here. From there to, or from that 937 balance level to about 910. So really this should be did see our buyer stuff in there. Let's see how high they can take us. keeping in mind that our overall trend, it's referencing our daily chart, is still bullish. And relative to the other daily structure, while this move may seem significant in relation to our pre-market structure, still it's not that big of a move. This is not that big of a sell-off. For right now. We'll see how the rest of the session plays out. Price is being held right below my average price. That was the bell zone. Alright, so it was a good practice on that one. Then I completely forgot about the other one. So in the other, what I'm using, the sim thing that I'm using for the other, to represent the other account, I also did have an entry that I missed. Completely forgot about it. So no matter how this morning ends out, it's still a good day for me since I stayed disciplined to my rules. Because I've definitely traded on days like this where I wasn't 100% focused, and 9 times out of 10, I'm just saying, because from what I can remember just offhand right now, usually when I'm just not as focused as I should be, or my energy is off for whatever reason, then I usually, it doesn't turn out good. Those are usually losing days for me. So from those lessons learned, that's why I've learned to just, no matter if I think, okay, no, I can still do it. Nope. I got to follow that rule. And if I'm not as focused as I should be, then no trading. No matter what I may be thinking in the moment. It's a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. See, I was also supposed to go ahead and title this one. So this will be a late entry. As of right now, at the position that I did take in the sim environment, I did execute that well. It looks like they do want to take things lower. We're still getting held up right there at that balance level of 937. Potentially making a floor for us, so we can see that V-shaped pattern that we've kind of been seeing a lot lately for NQ. ES is just kind of hanging around, hasn't really made a move in either direction. Looks like it's trying to break some support. Also has that battle zone price action. This one I'll be running the stop loss tight. That one turned out to actually be a beautiful play so far. Well, at this point, this will be it's going to be a winner regardless. Break even's already been triggered. I just realized that my duplicate window is behind my head. See, this is why I wanted to practice this. Trying to make sure my layout is correct and everything. What I definitely got to do is make sure I record, get all my plays on film, just to use like a sports reference. So I'm gonna have to play with the layout later. I still want to be able to see my daily chart. Well, I don't know. Well, I'll see. I think about that. I don't really necessarily. I usually just look at the daily before I start trading, and I don't usually look at it anymore during my actual trade window. So it's not something that I have to see while I'm trading, because that's part of my preparation. So our buyers did step back in there, pushing this price higher. Giving us that V-shaped sentiment. Looking at levels above, we got 989 a quarter. We got VWAP around 1505. Not even close to our point of control, sitting up here near the 200 SMA. Around 1530. Sellers stepping in, giving us starting to create a range. Let's see if they get follow through. This could be a temporary stall in price. A short-term flag pattern, as we can see on the 1 minute chart. Not a whole lot of action in our price action this morning. It's that slow, tight range, choppy price action. Other than that, the sell-off that we saw in the first few minutes. Now we slowed it back down. And just as I say that, we get a spike lower. There's some energy that just came back into the market, created us a brief pivot point. Now trying to break higher. That was very interesting how that played out. Still seeing this back and forth action. Got another push of selling that came in. You can kind of reference this. Well, you can see it on the 1 minute. Can't see it on the 3 minute. This 1 minute pivot there. Can also be looked at as a front run of that level or that range, or yeah, that level at 9.89 1/4. We also start to see some valleys coming in on our volume profile above that. And they've slowed the price action down again. Last time I said that, we had a burst of energy. So let's see if we can get a repeat of that last that can happen one more time. Definitely feel like wholesale price action. We don't have a lot of participation from different groups. In today's session, we had 117 contracts traded within that first 30-minute period. Didn't feel like it. I mean, we did have that sell-off, but so now we got some more selling coming back in, pushing us back to that support. I think this is similar to what we saw on Friday, where they created a mean by taking price away from our range, our initial balance, our opening range, and then they traded against that. So Friday they went out looking for inventory, gathered their inventory at low prices, and then sold it back at higher prices to the market to close out the month. And this morning they stored up on supply. Giving us nice sell-off at the open. What was that at 910? It's gonna be a structural play. Remember, 910 was our pivot as we looked at it on the 30-minute. Kind of halfway between the balance levels in that range. Still got buyers sitting at our 937 floor. Now my focus is on, let's see, say 983 where we have volume structure. Let's see if we can make it above, if they can push price above that. Even though I'm not as focused as I should be, it's not bad execution this morning, but the fact that it is in a sim environment does matter. You do have to factor that in as well. We broke out of that volume structure. Looking ahead to our VWAP at now we're sitting at 1500 or 15,000. Price stalling before that level. You see the buyers that came in near the 950 area. They're front running that level, taking their profit. It's just one way of looking at it. That is that last, was that 1 minute? Yeah, 1 minute candlestick pair. We should keep going higher. It was a bullish signal, which it did, and didn't touch VWAP. Now we brought it right back down within that. It was on that 1 minute bull signal, so can't really expect a whole lot from it. But of course, they can do whatever they want to do with price. We are getting a responsive VWAP. Another thing I forgot to do this morning was to record this as well while I'm streaming it. Supposed to record it at the same time. Tripping on the set. Right back to our power range high. So just zoom it out a little bit, looking at this on the 3 minute. Got a nice little, instead of the V pattern, they gave us a W pattern. I call this the Williams pattern. This is my own personal pattern. Now what they did is take it down. Collected some more inventory, got rid of supply, and now right back up to sell it back at higher prices. To all our traders that like to take breakouts. What's the next main level that It's more of a range that we'll be looking at is, well, that I will be looking at is 29. It would just call it 29 to the balance level of 41.5. Of course, we got structure lining up right with that. Volume structure, price structure. It's a lot of things lining up in that same area. So I'll be looking at that range to see if we can make it up there to complete this W pattern. Nothing stops us from, nothing is stopping them from turning this price around and taking us lower. Just looking at both sides of the market. And right now we are running into structural resistance, previous support. Give us a couple more minutes to see what it does. Since this is a sim environment, just being honest, don't have a whole lot of motivation to just keep waiting for it. Do have some other things that I gotta get done today. We get a nice little push. Let's see how much follow we get through. How much follow through we get. We also have our 200 SMA on the 3 minutes up there. Bring this a little lower. Do a little front run action there myself. Just a little bit of a push. I'm actually going to trail this stop also. There it is. Alright, so interesting session. It was actually some of my best execution, even though some of it was by mistake. But it is what it is. So appreciate everybody for coming through, trading with me and all that good stuff. Hope you have a good rest of your day, the rest of your session. And we'll see you tomorrow. Trade it easy.